Hello Ronlings. So this is a quickie to show you a car conversion, a micro, if you want to coin everyone else's phrase, a micro car camp conversion. So I bought a really tiny little car. It's a Toyota Aygo, and I want to, as with my channel has always been, I like to do mostly tent camping, but I also like to kick back in a vehicle of some description. It's been a car, and then it's been a van. Now we're back to a car again. So this is going to show you how I went about it. So here she is. Yeah, right off the boot up. But anyway, you get the gist. That's it. So it must be said to begin with that let's go and sit in the shade while I say this, because it's really hot sun today. So I did a sneaky, cheeky little look at quick search on YouTube, and it must be said that everyone I managed to I mean, I didn't spend all day looking, so I might not be encompassing every single channel, but the half hour or so I spent looking, all I could find when I found micro car camping is people that have bought one clearly just to get some numbers up for that episode. Because you look at before and after, some of them might convert it and stay in it for one night, but you look at before and after, and they've all converted their tiny car, and you never see it again. So I must start off by saying that this is my car. I've bought this because I have to, because this is my ride. To cut a very long story short, when I sold my van with the money I bought a nice car. It gave me nothing but trouble, never worked. The dealer I bought it off of, to cut another long story short, eventually wouldn't do nothing about it, and it was only worth scrap. It had a catastrophic failure that would have cost twice as much as the cars were, so I had to sell that. Now I'm left with a little dribble of cash, so I bought this little car because of purely money, and the running costs are incredible on this car. It's unbelievable. You know, it's like £20 tax a year. It's, I can't remember the exact insurance group, but if it's not the lowest, it's a one up from the lowest. So the insurance is good. It's costs 50, say mid to late 50s to fill it up, and I'm getting 420 odd miles before it even when the light comes on, the fuel light comes on. I'm getting about 420 miles on that. I don't know about other countries in the UK. That's amazing. And it's a really basic model. It doesn't have cruise control or a big computer trying to tell you to do stuff. It doesn't have a remote locking. That's how cheap it's been made, this particular model. Yeah, I was like, thought there's something wrong with it. I thought, well, where's the button to it? No, you got to put the key in, and it's central locking, but it's not remote central locking. Doesn't have a temperature gauge, doesn't have a rev counter. You know, these are all like standard things in cars, you'd think. You know, you've got when you unlock it, you have to unlock it your side. None of the other locks work. It's a real wiring saving thing. It's really basic, and they've sort of skimped on wherever they could. It doesn't even have, it has electric windows, but it doesn't have two on the driver's side. So if you want to ride down the other side, you've got either just not, or you've got to lean over the other door, and you know, little things like that. It doesn't have a boot light, or if you're American, a trunk light. They've tried to skimp wherever they can on it. It's a real basic of the basic model. But the upside of that is the maintenance is I think that's why there's so many of these cars this age. This is 16 years old, this car. There's so many of these cars this age on the road because they're so basic. I'm imagining the running costs are minimal, because it's just back to basics, old school. You know, you got an engine and you steer. So there's not much to go wrong. What does go wrong is relatively cheap. So that's the reason for buying it, solely money. That was it. I'm not buying it for the channel so that I can bump some numbers up. Believe me, a channel my small, it's not going to make any difference. I bought this because this is my car, and I want to go camping, so this is what I had to deal with. So the initial problem I'm having with this car obviously is size. You know, I want to convert it into a car camp. It's very small. I mean, the boot is obviously an important part of any car camp conversion. That's the boot. Yeah, you didn't get much in there, would you? And obviously, being a small car, it's small from the back to the front. It's small. Now, another thing that every car camp conversion I saw, micro car camp conversion I saw, is that they always take the seats out, which I think is a bit of a cheat, really. They say to you, this is the size of the car, isn't it tiny? And then they take the seats out, which is sort of, in my opinion, it kind of negates buying the small car, because it's not a small car anymore if you're going to empty out the insides. I can't do that. This is my car, this is my transport, so I have to leave the seats in. I can't even consider that. So my first problem was it's a small car. My second problem is I can't take any of the seats out. The whole point of the car is I need the seats. So I need it to be a car and be a camper. So that's my second problem. The third problem is, if you can call it a problem, because it's kind of created by me, is that I'm no stranger to car camping. Done this many times before, and what I did discover, being an old man and having hip problems, is I needed one of the seats up. I tried it without, and you're kind of, in a sense, sitting just on the bed. You can't on this anyway, because once you put the beds in, I'll show you later, you can't sit up. It's too, the roof's too low. But if I took the bed away and folded it up and sat on the floor, it's painful. I did that last time. It's too painful. So I have to keep this seat up on this side behind the drivers. So that has to be up all the time, because this is going to be my armchair. I don't also want to move the driver's seat, because I'm a fussy person, and whenever I move the driver's seat, I always spent 12 years getting it back where I want it, because I'll go, oh, that's not quite right, and then the next time I drive, oh, that's not quite right. It takes me ages to get where I want to go, so I'm not messing with the driver's seat, which automatically puts the armchair behind the driver's seat. So that's taken a car that's very small, and I've made it even smaller by having those gripes about converting it. So those are the problems I've got with it. Some because of the car, some because of my stubbornness to change certain things. I suppose all in fairness it is because, you know, it does give me hip problems. That's why I needed one seat up all the time, because that's my armchair. I get in the car and I've got somewhere to sit. Not all the conversions I saw, they put a bed in and the rest is cupboards. That means you're lying on the bed all the time because you can't sit up. I don't want that. So that's it as a car. I'll now put it into camp mode and show you what I say we, because as soon as I started talking about it to my partner, she instantly was pen out, and she's a doer. My partner, she's not afraid of a bit of work, and she loves projects and stuff like that. So as soon as I knew she'd do this, because it saved me a hell of a lot of time. This was done in record time. As soon as I sort of went, got a problem with this and problem that, she's pencil out, and she built me the cupboard. So which is the most time-consuming part of the whole build, was the cupboards, and I did pretty much the rest. But she had the hardest bit, so because it's bespoke, a very odd shape to fit in the car. So that was kind of her problem. So I'll say it's a conversion that we did. Here's the camper. So I just did a whole bit about the camper, and then I've deleted it all. So excuse me if I sound a bit because I've got to do it all over again. I hadn't done the whole thing, but I did a huge segment. So here's the camper. Here it is as a camper. So I'll start with the curtains, because the curtains are a weird one, because they ended up being a mishmash of all different things instead of, because what I started was, why don't I just show you? So what I started with was these curtains here, because I like them. I still do like them. They magnetise at the top. I'll pull a bit off. They magnetise at the top, and luckily I do have metal around the top. And they magnetise down the side. I mean, there's a bit of light coming through them, but it's good enough for you know, for it to keep the light out, the dim light out at night. And if anyone's walking past, it'll look like an empty car because it'll just be black. So yeah, would I like to move a bit darker? Probably, but they would have done the job. And I bought that for the back. Thought marvelous, these work really well, because I didn't want to buy loads and find out that I didn't like them. But that's marvelous. They're easy to put up, easy to take down. The concertina up, so they fall down pretty small. Brilliant. Right, I'll buy some for the front then. Nah. These are too big for the back, but they're nowhere near enough big. They're nowhere near enough big enough for the front. What's that about? It's a tiny car. I know in like 2-door cars the front doors are longer because they have to reach slightly into the back for people to be able to get into the back, but this is a 4-door. That's why it's tiny size. It's a 4-door, so the front doors shouldn't be too long, but I couldn't find this or anything similar to this as long as I needed it. What's that about? Even the ones that are made for the front, they're kind of that kind of shark's fin shape. No, not long enough. So I bought these. I bought one for this side, one for the other side, and they work for the back. I'm keeping them because I like them. They're easy. But I had to make something else for the front. And as I said, there are probably other ways of doing it and probably better ways of doing it. But this is all about I just want to get out on the road and get out on the road quickly. And then as I'm out on the road and think of other things, I can slowly make adjustments. So for the time being, all I bought was a few of these, which is like plastic. It looks like cardboard in the fact that it's sort of made the same way cardboard is, but it's all plastic. But it's quite thin. And being plastic is a bit more durable than cardboard, lasts a bit longer. I don't think they'll last forever, but they'll last a while before they start to die. And I made this one for the back window, which I did have in when I was showing you the first time I took it out, and I can't be bothered to put it back again. But it's quite self-explanatory. It's the same shape as the back window. I shove it in the back window, and I've got these side ones as well for the front door. I'll come around to the non-road side so I don't get run over. And these are for the back one. They're an exact fit, so that means that when I shove it in, excuse me, pause it there for a sec because everyone in the world's coming out. So these are an exact fit. I cut them exactly the right size so that when there's this sort of little edging around the edge. It's only a small rubber edging, but it's enough that as long as you've got an exact fit, you can poke it up inside and it stays there. These have been in here for days. I put them in initially and left them there while I was doing other stuff. But it does mean a lot of bending, and same with the back one. It needs a lot of bending and twisting to get it up inside, and I question how long that plastic's going to last. You keep bending it all the time, but it'll do initially until I can find something else or make something else. I don't know. So I've got one of these for each side of the front and one for the back for the boot window. But as for the front window, I haven't tried it yet, but I've got it. I didn't want to buy a massive sheet for the front window, and I didn't want to buy lots of little ones that I'd have to cut up to make loads of it. It was just too much of a faff. I've got this already. It's like a plasticky material. Anyone who's watched my channel before, when I used to have a van, I used to have open the back doors and put a roof across the top to give me a little veranda. Oh great, somebody across the road is on a noisy bike. I can't complain, I've got a bike myself. But I hope you can still hear. But so I've got that for the veranda, for the front windows. And what I've done is I've glued I'll just quickly show you. See that there? Another one up there. And another one up there. And there's some more down there. So I've glued washers along this, the inside of this bit here. There's a couple down the bottom. Because I don't care if it's got a bit of glue on it. The car's 16 years old. And the idea being that I haven't tried it yet. I'm going to do it when I go out. Sorry, the sun's giving light in different places. So I'm going to try it when I go out. I've got a big pile of magnets with little knobs on the back, and so you can grab hold of them and pull them off. If they were flat, you kind of like trying to get a coin off the floor. But these have got little, and a couple of them have even got hooks, because the idea is obviously you just put it onto a bit of metal and hook something off of it. So they're easy to pull on and off, and I'm going to stick them, you know, put the material in front of them and put the magnets the other side of it to jam the material between the magnet and the washer. Don't know if that's going to work. Well, I know it's going to work. I don't know how well it's going to work. I'm going to faff with that when I get where I'm going, because I'm going tonight, so I haven't got time to test it now, and it was a last minute thing really. I haven't got time to test it and then go to the shop if there's something wrong, you know, to try it tonight and see what happens. So that's all the curtains. Right, next is the bed. So let me just turn this around. So obviously I've put the back, that's the back of the chair, the back's forward. I've left, as stated earlier, I've left that as is. That obviously is now not obviously, some aren't like it, some are. That is much higher when it's folded forward than the floor. This is the floor of the boot, the floor of the boot, and it's much higher. So we luckily had a couple of tables in the garden that were chucked in there because we don't need them, and I just cut the legs off of them to the correct height, and it's roughly, give or take a few centimeters, it's roughly the same width as the chair, so that worked perfectly. Roughly the same width and roughly the same length. So if I pull this down, I've never done it with one hand before, and push it in there, look at that, Bob's your uncle. That's the foot end supported. The mid end is obviously supported by the seat that's down, and the other end which is essentially the footwell, it's got the other smaller table but wasn't high enough, so a quick trip to B&Q to buy a small sheet of insulation, thick insulation, which I've taped up because it's polystyrene and it gets everywhere. Cut that into threes, and each third happens to be roughly the right height to support the shoulder of the bed. Now that's as far forward as that seat goes, which is really annoying, isn't it? Look how far away it is from that's as far forward as that goes. I mean, if that went even further forward, I'd be laughing. The potential issue is that my head comes to about halfway. It's not quite up here, it's not quite down there, it's about halfway. And when I was sat on it for a little while, well, I was lying on it for a fair amount of time, but obviously it's not going to equate to an 8 hour sleep. This was making a good pillow. This is really soft and it's nice and comfortable, and it was making a good pillow, and that seemed to work, you know, because my head does come up to here as a pillow. So I don't know, I'm dead on exactly 5'7½". So what that means in this case is that my feet come to about where the bed ends, so not, you know, a good couple of centimeters away from the bottom, so I'm not actually touching the bottom of the car. And the front there does mean my head is risen a bit because of that. You know, what I'm trying to say is I'm not lying completely flat. Don't know if that's going to cause a problem or not. It was comfy for the 10 minutes I was lying there, but I didn't feel any crick in the neck or anything. But for 8 hours, I don't know what that means. So that's an experiment yet to come. What I did do while I'm lying here, this is my partner's. So my head's sort of, I've folded this up now, my head's sort of here-ish. which is not actually there, but in line with that. So this doesn't quite fit properly, but this would make a really good bedside table. Put my phone on and whatever, keys, whatever. This doesn't fit properly because her steering wheel's like half the width of mine. Another thing, you know, it's like this smaller car, they give you bigger stuff. I'll have bigger windows, please. I'll have a big fat steering wheel. So it's quite a lot thicker, so this doesn't really work. It doesn't sit in her car. This sits lovely and flat. So I've put that in there, but as you can see, it's no good. Maybe I can buy a better one. It was just an experiment, really. I think, can I borrow it to see if that works? So that's an idea that I might play with. I could probably make something simple. It just needs to be a little shelf. You know, if I'm not using this driver's area, that would make a good bedside table. I've put this empty, but I've put a tray down here. Again, this is an empty space, so I've bought it's only, what was it, £1.50. This is from B&Q. Of selling them off. So here's storage. I haven't put anything in it yet. I wish I'd have thought of putting something in it first, but so we might as well use this area. That's storage. And while we're on the subject of storage, obviously that's my armchair there as well, so I can sit comfortably. Maybe have something in front of me so I can put my phone on, something else to think about in the future, so I can sit and watch some TV. Talking of storage, this is all meant to be accessed from inside, but I'm standing here now. So this is the cabinet my partner made. Obviously the issue you have is that this bed leans backwards and this one sort of leans that way, and I'll have to off that there. I'm using that to cut the curtains. I remember to remove that later. So let's just remove that. That's how it travels. So obviously it's a weird shape, but it's to fit in the space provided. So you've got 3 shelves, 1, 2. Why didn't she put a lip on that one? There's a lip on that one, sort of stuff rolling out. I wonder why there wasn't one there. Anyway, and then the bottom one here, because it's so deep down, it's awkward to get into, so we put a tray there so you can pull the tray out and reach everything at the back of it. It's massive space, considering that little hole is all I had. And the reason it's a weird shape because it had to continue coming up this way to not touch the window, because if it was a square it would smash the window and close the window, because it's not a whole, that's an issue we have, is that not a whole boot doesn't open, just this window. So that's why it's such an odd shape. But I'm going to I wanted something permanent for storage. I keep seeing all these people in their conversions with boxes and boxes of stuff. Oh, I need my stove, rummaging through the box, there's my stove. Oh, I need this, and rummaging through the box. I didn't want that. I want it all nice and neatly put out, ready for me, just grab it and put it back, done. That's what I had last time, that's what I wanted this time. So she made this shelf, painted that colour for no particular reason, and we had it lying around. So all my stove, all my cups, my tea, coffee, paraphernalia. I don't quite know what to do with my water yet. I haven't bought a water container yet. But probably be able to fit a little water container in the bottom one, because the bottom one's huge, and there's more space than I can possibly imagine in that tiny little area that I gave her to work in, as well as the little storage tray in the front for the things that I need less time with. So I think I'll be alright for storage. And this little gadget here, as you saw, it stores upright while I'm driving, and then look, I've never done it with one hand, so but anyway, it goes there, across there. Now the idea is that little hook that was there to hold it there while I'm driving now just sort of hooks into that little gap there for no reason other than the fact if I knock it with my knee or something, it won't come off. And the idea is that when you sat inside, I won't initially, if I can't sit on the bed, it's too high, but I won't initially have this bed as a bed. I'll have it folded, and you can do it inside without having to get out the car or do anything yourself. But I need to take the bed out. But so the table comes across here, and I can open the boot window, and I can put my tea, coffee, whatever on this table. And there's a fly in here, that's great. But I can put my tea and coffee and cook my meals and stuff on this table, and the all the smoke and steam and what have you, I go straight out, and obviously unless it's raining. Or similarly, if it's really a lovely day in the summer, which we're running out of summer now, I think we're officially in autumn, so it'd be probably more likely for next year, I can actually stand out the back of it as I am now and use it the same way. I can take everything out the cupboards and put them on here, and then if it does sort of chuck down while you're in the middle of whatever you're doing, you can just close this up. You don't have to take anything in, just close that up and go back inside and carry on from the inside. So that's it really. That's about all I can show you. That's about all I've done. Obviously I need to fill it up with all my camping stuff, but that's the basics of what I've done to make it a camper, and I think that's all you need to do really. I think that's all I need to do. Plenty of storage, a bed, somewhere to sit that's comfortable, and somewhere to my little kitchen at the back of the car, with I can open the window and all the fumes go straight out. So you know, I think that's all I need. So we'll just see how it goes. So as I say, I'm going to go off to it tonight. I'm going to put this on YouTube first, and then fairly soon, a couple of days afterwards, it'll follow with my actual first adventure. So I hope you can join me for that one.